Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and it is Saturday, July the 8th, right? Yeah, the 8th. Sorry, I was off all week, so it's a little rough for me. And welcome to the second episode of the Wise Guys Sports Show this week here on the Wise Guys YouTube channel and Twitch page. We are all over the place now between YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Threads, you name it. But I'm going to bring my co-host in because we got to get to somebody right off the jump. And James, how are you, sir?
Michael, we actually have a very loaded show tonight. We've got three huge announcements right off the jump, so let's not waste any time. Please bring in our guest.
Ladies and gentlemen, our guest this evening is a repeat customer here on the Wise Guys Show. He is the brains, brawn, and machismo behind the Shakeback Media Group. He is the OG of sports podcasting that we look up to. It is Mr. Willie Epting Jr. And Willie, welcome back to the show, my man. Look, dude, I'm getting through tonight with you. This is how hardcore we gonna be tonight.
Well, I see you, man. Wait a minute. Does that say Reese's?
Iced coffee.
Reese's iced coffee. You have just taken it to another level, my friend. I have to try that. And I'm not a coffee person, but Reese's is my favorite candy.
Yeah, I'm drinking out of the container.
Is there any other way to do it?
Well, I used a cup to be civilized previously, but tonight I'm a little tired, so we're going to drink out of the container.
Well, the Godfather's in the house, Mike.
Amen, sir.
Well, let me just say this to you guys. It's been a while, and I appreciate you guys having me back on. I'm a little offended, though. I'm going to tell you why.
What's up?
Because I don't like being called a guest when I've been on somebody's show, previously. Yeah, how we do it at the Shakeback Media Group, you are no longer a guest 1 second into any of the shows that I do. You are instantaneously family.
We say guest because of the esteem that we put you in.
I'd rather be family.
I got you.
Well, with our Twitter interaction, that's given.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's Uncle Willie.
Oh gosh.
If somebody starts breaking out into Big Willie style, I swear to God, I'm ending this damn podcast right now.
Oh my God.
Shut up, Mike.
Don't get
Mike. I will cut your camera.
It wouldn't be the first time he did it.
In all
this
seriousness,
month. This week.
In all seriousness, guys, I really appreciate the opportunity, and I'm gonna do my best to give you my best with the limited energy that I have.
Well, we've got three huge announcements tonight. The first would be, as you saw at the top of the show, as we all came on, our Twitter handles were out there. All three of us are now officially on Threads. So if you guys would like to maybe introduce your handles, because before too long, I think all of us are going to start kind of migrating over there, or it's going to be kind of a simulcast type thing.
Yeah, I'm still at Big Rican on Sport on Threads, so it stays pretty easy with me.
Yes.
Willie's still at Shakeback?
At Shakeback Media Group. Now, you know what? When you were asking me off air, was that correct? That's actually the Twitter. That's the Twitter handle. The Threads handle is all spelled out, Shakeback Media Group, just like it is on Instagram.
We'll actually have that corrected and in a postscript on the show after this goes live. I'm still at JC Blue Note 24, and I'll also say that once they develop a browser version of it, which I hear is supposedly coming very, very soon, you're gonna start seeing me migrating completely over to Threads and start abandoning Twitter a little bit here.
I think
we'll probably have a Wise Guys show page itself on Threads too that we'll both be able to send stuff to, but right now it's just out of the personal stuff.
I think the funniest thing I heard about the whole ordeal with this, because nobody really knew that this happened until Wednesday when it launched. First of all, 75 million downloads in 4 days. That's almost a quarter of Twitter's base.
Mm-hmm.
They said that Instagram has 3.8 billion, whereas Twitter only has 400 million.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're going to phase Twitter out.
But the funniest thing I actually heard was on some news show where they were talking about it. They said, think of it like Twitter with a larger base and fewer Nazis.
I think that would be good for the world.
Right.
No longer springtime for Hitler.
Yeah. Next announcement, Mike, you and I actually have something coming up probably next Thursday or next Friday because I got a cookout next Saturday. Would you like to explain what this is?
All right. So when Jim and I were in college, we had a website that was all written word called the Wise Ass Sports Network. And we have decided that for one night and one night only, the Wise Ass Sports Network will ride again. It will be a totally off the cuff, a totally well, not that anything we do isn't off the cuff, but it will be everything from me slapping him with lines from Slapshot to him hitting me with lines from Major League to really getting down and dirty with some of the sports stuff and just being overly stupid, because that's what the Wise Ass Sports Network was. We're going to let it ride for one night. We're going to do it once a year, I think, where it's just we abandon all hope and we go after it.
This is I don't remember what yours was. It's mine wasn't that far. It wasn't called the Sports Note, but yeah, this was something that we started in the computer lab when we were skipping class constantly. Although
yes, we were.
Although let's be honest, where we were going to school, it's not like it was affecting our grades.
Cuyahoga Community College, the Harvard of Northeast Ohio.
The 13th grade. I took a computer class. I swear to God, I needed a filler. You remember this? Because I think you signed up for it the following quarter because this we were still on. It was an intro to Windows 7, Willie. I went to the class 6 times the entire quarter. I showed up 25 minutes late to the final, did the final in 30 minutes, and walked out with 144% in the class.
This was the type of school where I looked at my U.S. history professor, told him straight in the face, I'm cutting your class once a week and getting an A, and did it 2 semesters in a row.
Wow. So you called it the Harvard of Northeast Ohio?
But
only because it was on Harvard Road.
Yes. Where my office is literally a block from right now.
That's awesome.
Oh, it was great. That's how long we've known each other, man.
25 years plus.
That's terrific. That's terrific.
Jim, what's this surprise?
Michael has no idea that this happened. As you probably saw, if you've followed our YouTube page, I did a whole lot of cutting of segments that we are going to indoctrinate Mr. Epting Jr. tonight with. I was cutting those most of this morning, and there was an option that appeared in YouTube that I would like to present to Mike tonight for the first time. I just need to Restream changed their layout, so I'm just trying to learn it a little bit here.
We got to move the Wisey translator up a little bit then.
We will.
Okay.
The Wise Guys Sports Show is not just on YouTube anymore. The Wise Guys
YouTube
Sports
Music?
Show is now in podcast form, which can be found through YouTube Music as YouTube has started to phase out Google Podcasts and incorporate it into YouTube Music. So the entire show will be in audio form and it will go live, usually within about an hour of when we cut off tonight.
That's awesome, bro.
I've already migrated the Sports Note over, but I want to say it takes like 4 to 6 hours to show up in their database.
All right, so I gotta put Big Rican over there.
Can I give you guys this real quick?
Absolutely. We brought sound effects?
Wait, Jim, hit our boy. Hit our boy. The new one.
Oh.
The new one. Cue Kevin Harlan.
Did it play?
No, it didn't. I'm pulling it up on my phone.
This is 2 nights in a row where the sound's coming out on my end, but it's not coming through.
Willie, on our soundboard, we have the guy is drunk, and there he goes. Oh man. So, Jim, let's dive into the biggest topic going on right now, and that's not baseball, believe it or not, coming out of my mouth. But let's do a little NBA. Let's do maybe one of the craziest off seasons we've seen in recent memory. I will say this. I am wearing the Big Rican Cavs t-shirt, which, Willie, I'm going to have a run very soon of these. I got to get it out to you.
Okay.
But the Cavs kind of broke my heart the other day. Jim knows this, with the trade of Jetty Osman, the final piece of the LeBron era Cavaliers. What was it? The sign and trade got a Max Strus, who I know nothing about.
Yes. Yeah. Max, the Max, he was involved with that. Lamar Stevens was also moved, but Max Strus comes in. There was the George Niang from Utah. The
Damian Jones.
Yeah, that was earlier today. And I think the most surprising one was signing Ty Jerome away from the Golden State Warriors, which was really thought of as calling their bluff, because by signing Jerome to an offer sheet, the Warriors were going to have to actually pay or match that. And it was actually, and they're already up against the limit of the luxury tax.
Yeah. So the Cavaliers have been very, very active this offseason. Listen, man, so have your Lakers.
Yes.
I like the Austin Reeves signing. Keeping him long term.
Getting Gabe Vincent from Miami was huge too.
Agreed. So let me ask it this way. Willie, even if his kids goes to the NBA, is LeBron better set to stay with the Lakers and win a title with the way they're building the roster now? Are they actually using their brains with this one?
You mean with Bronny?
I mean, just staying with the Lakers.
Oh, staying with the Lakers.
Yeah.
A lot of that is going to depend on, and I know this is cliche-ish, but it is fact. A lot of it is going to depend on how healthy LeBron can remain throughout the year. I don't see a problem with the late, and I actually hate this, but I could see it because he's almost 39 years old. But he may have to think about some load management, and but this thing is gonna come and go with Anthony Davis. Period. Point blank. And I mean the Anthony Davis that showed up in the even number games in the playoffs this year, as opposed to the odd number games, but particularly against what he did against Denver in the conference final. This is going to revolve around him. The pieces are great. Austin Reeves, that dude is a player. Okay, he is that dude that has no fear. And to go from he was at Arkansas to somewhere else, I forgot where he went after that, but he earned the bag that he just got. And I think re-signing Rui Hachimura was big as well. So yeah, but LeBron James and Anthony Davis, it's gonna really hinge, and Anthony Davis has to do something different. Whatever he's doing in the offseason or not doing that keeps getting himself injured, in critical parts of the season, he's got to change, dude. I mean, I think he got that one championship in the bubble, and he's kind of like, yo, I got my chip. I'm good. But no, you can't be like that when you're playing with LeBron, because LeBron is he's chasing history. And the question remains, will LeBron James not just win a championship with the Lakers, but will he win one ever again, period?
I think if he gets to 5, the arguments have got to stop.
What arguments?
Who's the best, who's the greatest of all time? They've just got to stop.
No, they can't stop.
Five titles, the all-time scoring leader, top 10 in rebounds, top 10 in assists, top 10 in steals. Come on.
Let me ask you this then, since you put it that way.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. And Jim, I want you to chime in on this as well. How can you be considered the greatest in anything that you do if at the pinnacle, at the highest plateau of what you're doing, you have failed more times than you have been successful?
Because the pinnacle is a team thing. It's not an individual thing.
Okay.
Those banners don't say Michael Jordan. They say Chicago Bulls.
But
they say Miami Heat. They say Cleveland Cavaliers.
Okay. I'm glad you.
So you can't just say it's titles, because if you want to do that, then Bill Russell's the greatest of all time. Drop the mic.
Okay. Now, I'm glad you said that, because I have another question.
Okay.
How is it that you can be considered to be the greatest of all time, or the greatest you've ever seen, if in critical moments of not just games but series, you as an individual who is being considered or is being a candidate for that honor straight up disappears?
Very simply, because it took the guy we're talking about getting a running mate to stop being 1-9 in the playoffs.
Okay, but the question was, how can you be considered to be the GOAT if at certain points when you are the GOAT, you disappear?
Because the guy who people consider the GOAT now is never asked to do as much as this guy's being asked to do. And when you have to do all of it, Willie, come on. We all know Scotty played the best offensive player on every single team they played in every playoff series when he joined the Bulls. Michael was playing defense against guys like Jeff Hornacek, like Dan Marley, like I can keep going. They brought in Dennis Rodman because no one could play Shaq except Dennis Rodman. Michael was asked to score. LeBron is asked to score, facilitate, rebound, top defensive player, top rebounder. No one's been asked to do this much. No one.
Let me pose the other question here. Let me pose another piece of evidence, Mike. Before Scotty got there, who was Michael's best running mate and how far did they get in the playoffs? First round? LeBron got a team to the finals with Drew Gooden
and Sasha Pavlovich and Daniel Boobie Gibson,
and knocked off the defending champions who were the best team of the era.
And who did Michael play that could have run with any of the teams LeBron played in the finals except the Mavs?
Okay. I understand both of y'all's points. Here is the caveat. The GOAT. It doesn't matter what you're expected to do. The expectation is going to be there because you are the GOAT. And when it came down to it, LeBron James, and I don't want to make this sound like that I am a Jordan worshiper because I actually hated that dude. My team was the Pistons, okay? So whenever they knocked off the Pistons and Isaiah and they walked off the floor, I was like, yeah, walk off the floor. Don't shake their hand. But what I'm saying is that when you are the GOAT, those things are expected of you. And when it's expected of you, that's when you are supposed to perform at your best. And too many times we saw LeBron James not do that.
Willie, how many times in the finals has the guy who guarded LeBron won the MVP because he held him to 30 points a game, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists
but that's
in a series?
That's not what I'm not. This is the thing with this whole conversation is that it's not meant to diminish one player's greatness over the other or one player's greatness under the other. Because at this point, when we get into those type of specifics, then we're really actually embarking into a different conversation, or we're embarking into a different room in the same house. All right. So I'm not gonna dispel the things that LeBron James has done. I'm not doing that at all. All I'm saying is there are certain things according to my criteria, and I know my criteria is different from yours, and yours may be different from JC's. But what I am saying is, when you talk about intangibles and a killer instinct and not shying away from the moment, or even not being left open to take open jumpers, that never happened to Jordan. Never. I don't care who they were playing against. That never happened to him.
Nah, he just tossed dudes in the front row.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, it was like that when they played back in that era. So
hey, I was partial to Larry back then. I'm still a firm believer. The greatest team of all time was not 72-10. It was the 86 Celtics.
Yeah, they were pretty darn good. A lot of people say that 82 Sixers team,
Oh, with Moses Malone and Dr. J?
Yes.
That was good. That was good. But that 86 team, 4 out of the 5 starters in the Hall of Fame. You had a Hall of Famer on the bench, the coaches in the Hall of Fame, the general manager and the owners in the Hall of Fame. And the 5th guy in that starting 5 is going to get in the Hall of Fame as an executive.
I agree with that.
Oh, that's crazy.
And
no other team in the history of basketball can say that.
And Danny Ainge was a critical piece to that squad as well. I mean, he could shoot the ball, but he was the what's the dude name that's the YouTube sensation fighting everybody? I forgot his name.
Paul?
That dude. He was the Logan Paul of the Celtics, of the NBA.
Did you just compare Danny Ainge to a punk from Westlake, Ohio?
Who's in the WWE right now?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it his brother who's fighting Diaz or something like that?
Yep.
I hope Diaz kills him.
I always remember Danny Ainge, as good of a player as Danny Ainge was, and he was the one that I said is going to get in the Hall of Fame as an executive for all the jobs that he's done. But I'll always remember him for one thing, and that was biting Doc Rivers on the floor in the second round against the Hawks that year in that brawl.
And that's why they hate each other to this day.
Uh-huh.
Hey, real quick, what's this tournament thing?
Stupid.
Okay.
It's they're initiating a World Cup type tournament in the middle of the season, and they say the games are going to count for regular season.
What is this for?
The NBA.
They're calling it the NBA Cup. It just came out about an hour and a half ago.
Because I saw the Cavs are in like Eastern Conference Group A or something like that.
Yeah, it's I'm pulling it up right now because of the draw. Matter of fact, I'm going to try and see if I can share it here. Okay, here we go.
What does that tell us? What does that tell us about the NBA and what kind of direction they're going in? Are they about to Are they really about to start reducing games?
I don't even know what to tell you.
There are your groups.
So the Cavs group is Philly, the Cavs, the Hawks, the Pistons, and the Pacers. Ooh, the Knicks got a bad draw.
And they say that these were picked completely at random. There were about 5 or 6 different criteria that went into that.
So the Knicks are in there with the Heat, the Wizards, and the Bucks.
It's in the Bucks.
In-season tournament. Why? What I mean, at the end of the tournament, what do you get?
The NBA Cup.
Yeah, it's an NBA Cup, and I think there's like a million,
500 grand each,
something like that. Yeah.
So they're going to have a tournament in the middle of the season, and the winner of the tournament gets 100 grand per player.
500 grand per player. I thought I read
500 grand per player.
Mm-hmm.
And these games are going to count towards the regular season standings.
Correct, except for the championship.
It's almost like they're doing that Capital One Cup thing you see them doing in college.
Exactly. Okay, so
my God,
is this going to be part of the 82 game season?
Yes.
Okay, then. You know what? I think now that you say it like that, I think it might not be a bad idea, because in November, when teams are low managing in 101 in the beginning, it will force teams or force players to not want to take the night off.
Here's what they say. Here's the hilarity of it, because I got the press release up here. They're saying it's an in-season tournament, but really it's at the very start of the season. Group play games will be played on tournament nights, which will take place every Tuesday and Friday from November 3rd through the 28th, with the exception of Election Day on November 7th. The only NBA games played on tournament nights will be group play games. 8 teams will advance to the knockout rounds, with the best team in each standing group play games of each of the 6 groups and 1 wild card team from each conference. The wild card will be the team from each conference with the best group play record that finishes second.
They're stopping people from tanking
and stopping load management. Even at that early part of the season, they're stopping people from load management.
Yeah, but that's going to screw the playoffs.
How many games is it going to be? How many total games do you have to win this tournament?
It's let me think about here. You've got to play each of the teams in your group, so that's 4, and then the knockout round. So you got round of 8 would be 1, 4, 2, potentially upwards of 9 extra games.
Or just 9 games. It's
9
just
games.
the tournament in the 82 game schedule. So the other 73 will be what the other 73.
Well, the potential for 9 if you run the table through the group stage and the tournament. But here's what I'm wondering is that how is this going to actually end up working in the end if it counts towards the 82? Because you could have one team playing 9 games. How's it going to balance out the rest of their schedules? And how's it going to be for that team that only plays the 4 group stage games, like a Charlotte or a bottom feeder like a San Antonio, and then they're basically sitting waiting. I mean, they're going to still have regular season games in there. This whole thing is really screwy from what I've seen.
And so the schedule hasn't come out yet, has it?
Not yet.
Okay, so
Not yet.
So the schedule makers are basically going to create the whole thing around this tournament some kind of way. And
Basically,
there's nobody on this screen, or let me put it this way. The person that is speaking right now at the bottom of this screen is not smart enough to understand how they're going to do that.
Yeah, because they just announced the details about this about 2 hours ago, but they didn't break anything down.
Right.
Willie, let me ask you 2 quick questions here.
Okay.
Where's Dame going?
ooh,
Everybody's saying Miami, but we always know that there's a dark horse or somebody that is lurking behind the scenes. Now, Damian has said that he wants to go to Miami and no other place. He really doesn't have any leverage. I mean, the Blazers can send him wherever they want because he doesn't have a no trade clause in his contract. So he could potentially end up looking like the bad guy because he's already 3 years, or I want to say he's 2 or 3 years into this most recent extension that he got. So wherever he goes, I mean, it's not like he could just be like, yo, I'm not going to play with you guys next year because I'm up for an extension. That's not it. I don't know where he's going to end up. I can tell you where I would like to see him. And it's not the Lakers. I mean, all bets are off. It's not the Lakers. I would love to see him with Joel Embiid in Philly.
I'm glad that you brought that up. Let me ask the other question now. There is a very strong rumor that has come out in the last couple of days that after the Knicks flipped Obi Toppin to the Pacers and picked up 2 extra second rounders, that the Knicks could be putting together a package that includes a 1, several 2s, because they've got 4 2s in the next couple of years, and a player to get Joel Embiid to the Big Apple.
Really?
There's a lot I saw that earlier today, and it's getting a lot of run.
Go ahead, Mike.
it's the compensation for not getting Donovan.
Are they reaching though? Do you think they're reaching? Because I don't know if Embiid has a no trade clause in his contract or not. If he does, if I were him, I would veto that. I would not want to go to New York and play. Although they have a couple of nice pieces. What they did they should not have lost to the Miami Heat in the conference semifinals. That should not have happened. But Embiid in New York with Jalen Brunson.
I was just going to say Jalen Brunson. That's a fun idea.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because it's going to cost them RJ Barrett.
And which I think they probably wouldn't mind giving him up anyway, to be honest with you. But they've got a pretty stout roster. I mean, they just need a couple pieces. Embiid was not the figure that I would have allowed that to come into my brain. But hey, you know what? Because right now with Nick Nurse in Philly and Daryl Morey, who is a James Harden guy, James Harden is looking to be traded. He's asked for a trade out of Philadelphia. A lot of people are saying that he's played his last game there. You know what? If Dame gets out of Portland and he gets to either Miami or Philly, I would love to see James Harden have to finish his career in Portland during a rebuilding stage. I don't like that guy.
I don't either.
I don't like that guy at all.
We brought it up, Mike, you and I think I brought it up last week. Outside of a couple of scoring titles and an MVP, what's he ever done in his career?
Scored a lot of points.
Right.
Gets to the free throw line a lot.
And sticks his leg out on jumpers. Looking like a friggin' Rockette.
But he in the playoffs, I'm like, okay, this dude, he showed what he was too much in terms of not being what he was or what we expected him in the regular season. He's been choking in the playoffs ever since the Miami Heat beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in the finals way back whenever it was. And when you talk about that dude in the playoffs, and you know what? Speaking of playoffs,
playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
That's what they were telling James Harden. Can we win one game? We can beat the Celtics in one game. I'm just like, yo, and he being the late great Kobe Bryant took a lot of flack from James Harden when Kobe said the Houston Rockets will never win a championship with that brand of basketball because it's too much one-on-one from James Harden. And as he's gotten older, as he has began to lose a step or two, we're seeing it. If he ends up in Portland or San Antonio or name some other Detroit, if he ends up there to finish his career, I'm going to be laughing every day for the rest of my life.
You and me both.
Well, since Willie mentioned San Antonio, we got to talk about his debut last night. Victor Wembanyama. We'll put his stat line up here. I don't know if anybody watched it.
I saw some highlights.
Please put in the part where his bodyguard smacked Britney Spears.
It's up there.
So he was 2 of 13.
Slap pop megastar.
Downs, 5 blocks. Once. Oh my gosh. Somebody had put a picture up on Twitter, guys, and it was a picture of Britney Spears, and they said wrong answers only. And I just couldn't help myself. I said that is Victor Wembanyama's security team's new chew toy. Was that the loser game now? How can you do that to me?
Listen, man. Listen, I said to my wife today, she got back from hanging out with her friend from yesterday and today at her dad's. And I said, yo, Britney Spears is in the news again. She goes, oh, really? What happened? I said, someone pimp slapped her. And she's like, what? Wait, what? Oh, my God. Our soundboard is actually quite funny, Willie.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. I'm going to have to go out there and find one of those.
I got another one for you. Jim, should I give him the other one?
Go ahead, because I just tried to play it and it's still not going through.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
We unfortunately use that one a lot with us.
Well, I'll see that one, and then I'll raise you this one right here.
Here we go.
Oh, no, you big dummy. You dummy.
You big dummy. Dummy.
I actually had that segment on today on the Shakeback Sports Show, and it was targeting one Dwight Howard.
Hold on. Here's one more for you.
Oh, shit.
Jim, I found a couple more we need to find for this.
Yeah, send them my way and I'll get them cut. Willie, I actually can tell you off the air on how you can do that through Google Docs of all things.
Okay.
Oh, all right. So Wembyama.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my question. How's he going to survive? Listen, I got a few pounds I'm trying to shed. I will gladly give him some of mine if he wants it.
I was going to say, if he was playing anywhere else but San Antonio, which is one of the hottest and muggiest cities in the country, a stiff breeze from somebody opening one of the doors to get into the arena is going to blow him over.
If he went to Philly, I'd have been taking him to Geno's every damn day.
If he were in Chicago playing for Alex, he'd end up playing over in like Quad City or something by halftime.
Or in the middle of the lake.
I mean, he's tall enough to stand up in the lake.
He'd be posting up the giant bean.
You know what? Here's my take on Mr. V. A lot of the same concerns that we're hearing about him, we heard about one Kevin Durant. In terms of his size, how lanky he is. We heard those same things about Kevin Durant when he came out of Texas. And I didn't think that Kevin Durant would ever blossom into what he did because of that. So with that being said, am I saying that Victor is like Kevin Durant? No, but at the time, we didn't know that Kevin Durant was going to become Kevin Durant. So how is he going to survive? He's with the perfect franchise for him to get developed. I don't think he's going to be a Kevin Durant. They're saying he's the best prospect to come in the league since LeBron James. Those are lofty expectations, man. And that's really lofty for a guy that's coming over from France. And their brand of basketball over there is a little bit different than it is over here.
Let me pose the question to everybody here, and I want to go completely around the horn. Realistically, where do you think, what NBA player, past or present, do you most likely think would be his ceiling or best comparison to?
I have two answers for that. There's the Mike Wise Guy answer, which is Manute Bol.
Oh my gosh. God rest his soul.
Told you. Yeah, exactly. No, honestly, the other one, and this is if he puts some weight on, because he's got the handle and he can shoot the jumper. If he puts some weight on, I can see like a hybrid of Patrick Ewing, who had that big jumper that he could shoot from anywhere, and the Admiral. Because the Admiral was a big dude, but the Admiral came in the league. He was a little bit lankier coming out of the Naval Academy, and he put the weight on. My issue with Wembyama is that his camp has already said he's not going to try and put a bunch of weight on in muscle because they don't want the injuries. I got news for you. Captain Ball Kicker out there in Golden State's going to hurt him.
Willie, when he finishes giggling.
We also call him Fat Bobby Brown.
Oh gosh. Okay. He can shoot the ball. He can defend inside and out. He can take the pill off the dribble and take it to the 10. That reminds me of Scottie Pippen. He's a tall, lankier Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen wasn't that he wasn't bulked up at all. Scottie Pippen was 6'7", long arms, very explosive, could play both sides of the court defensively and, of course, offensively. He could pass the ball very well. I don't know about Victor's passing ability as of yet, but the things that I've seen from him kind of remind me of Scottie Pippen.
I'm going to stay in the state of Texas here, and Willie could probably kind of get an idea where I'm going with this. Yao Ming with a better jumper. Because Yao had that lanky frame, played very good defense, and then once he finally got adapted to the North American bang-in type game, put a couple of pounds on him, Yao became an elite defender for a while there. And Wembyama, we all know that he's going to basically outreach and outblock everyone with that frame. But you add in the versatility to be able to shoot from anywhere, and the fact that he doesn't have to jump very high to actually get the ball to the goal. It could be a definite. And I'm not saying he's going to be a Hall of Famer like Yao, but I'm saying I see a lot of Yao's skill set in Wemby.
I like that one, Willie. I really do.
Respect.
Absolutely. And may he have the very good opening to his speech if he gets in the Hall of Fame as Yao Ming did.
Yeah. Well, Victor got dunked on last night.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, he did.
He got dunked on last night. So
It was the other draft pick, right? Not Scoop, the other one.
The kid who went to, yeah.
Yeah.
Why can't I think of his damn name?
I can't either.
Because he's in Charlotte.
Yeah, I was going to say, outside of Wemby and Scoop, who the hell knew who got drafted last week?
Imoni Bates.
It's because you're a Cavs fan.
You asked.
He's right. You did ask.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, this is the most boring weekend of the entire sports season because as of tomorrow, we've got nothing going on realistically in terms of games that count for a week. And why is that? It's because we've got the MLB All Star game coming up early next week. 6 Rangers in, only 4 Rays. Clase opted out today.
I got one for you. The offensive leader in most categories at every position is playing in the game except shortstop.
It's because they've got a $400 million payroll and they're 5 games out of the wild card. Actually, be a little bit more competitive. You can get more than one guy in.
Actually, we got more than one guy in.
The series that you guys are in right now, ESPN put this up the other day. The 2 teams in there, it's a $775 million payroll for 2 teams that are probably going to be out of contention here by the end by Labor Day.
You want to put money on that?
Oh my gosh, those are fighting words. I mean, the Mets are playing some really good baseball right now.
Here's a stat for you, Jimmy. Who leads all of baseball in home runs as a catcher?
Oh,
I know the answer. I just don't give a damn.
In 100 less at bats.
Mike Piazza.
Listen,
to quote Cabal from the MK11 game that I actually have playing in the other room right now, I don't bow, curtsy, or give a shit.
Hey, Willie, him and I had a point of contention on Monday night's episode when he had the unmitigated gall to say that Emmanuel Clase was the best closer in baseball last year.
Over Diaz?
I said it was Diaz.
Well, Diaz is not there this year, and Clase is struggling mightily.
I agree.
Yeah, Clase leads baseball with 7 blown saves this year.
I don't know what his deal is.
That it happens, unfortunately. So, Jim, Willie's got to get out of here because, like you said, he's got some homework to do and everything. So we're going to get Willie into our newest segment that was debuted on our draft reaction special, and that is the Wisey Translator.
We are going to we're going to split it. We're going to do a special roundtable with Willie, and then Michael and I will have our normal translator in the final segment of the show.
So let me first introduce it the proper way. So for those watching, the Wisey Translator is much like the word association game played by Richard Pryor and Chevy Chase on Saturday Night Live all those years ago. We give our guest we give Uncle Willie here and Jim and myself Brother Willie. I like that better. Very nice. We give name in or out of the sports world, and the first thing that pops into your head is what your answer is. Now, there is a sound effect after we give you the name, so just bear with us.
Okay.
So tonight, Jim, do you want to give Willie the name, or should I?
I actually, well, why don't we both? We can actually, because we could probably squeeze a couple in here.
Okay, so I'll let you go first.
Willie, your first name on the YZ translator, Corey Dillon.
And I have to say what the first thing comes to my mind is?
Yes, sir.
It could be on topic. It could be off topic.
Troublemaker.
I get that.
I like
Well,
that.
let me give you the inspiration for this. We're watching the draft, and we had mentioned, because Will Levis didn't go to Washington, and I said, hey, they have Jacoby Brissett, and Jim says, let's put that in a YZ translator, Sanika Wallace. We've had everything from he gave me Brett Favre and I said Boss Hogg to it gets stupid. It gets very stupid. So
I think I told Bill Nicholson to shut up a few weeks ago.
Yeah. The words "fuck Jack Eichel" have come out of his mouth. Things like that.
Multiple times. I actually, as I was cutting those, we've done a little too much John Moran and Jack Eichel in the last month.
John Morant got called Emilio Estevez because that's who played Billy the Kid in Young Guns, and then I called him a John Wick wannabe. Hey, what's the name of the? Never mind. I'll come back to it because it just kind of fell out of my head. Willie, I don't know the gentleman's name, but I'm going to let you get something off your chest. And Willie, your second entity in the YZ translator is the owner of the Oakland Athletics.
Brilliant. He's brilliant.
Brilliant?
He's brilliant. Let me say it this way. The reason for the Oakland A's leaving Oakland is not because of the A's. It's because of the city of Oakland.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah. So why stay in a place where you're not wanted? I actually talked about this a while back whenever these rumors started becoming more and more gaining more and more traction. I compared what Manfred told the owner of the A's. Look, if the city of Oakland and the county of Alameda is not going to take the necessary steps to get you guys a new stadium built, you guys might want to look for another place. I said this. Manfred is the landlord. Major League Baseball owns the apartment complex, and the baseball teams and their franchises are individual units inside the complex. So Manfred, who is the landlord, is telling one of his tenants to move. That's basically what it is.
I was going to call him Rachel Phelps. Jim knows who that is.
Sports show is next week.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Willie, you got that reference, right, Willie?
No, I didn't.
That's the owner of the Indians in Major League.
Oh, okay. It's been so long since I saw that movie, man. I
know. Talk to the bitch.
Yeah.
I'm going to start feeding Chow Chow real dog food.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, where was I? It was the Bananas game the other night, and they were playing something, and I looked right at Adam, my best friend's wife, and they had played it was like the same Taylor Swift or same song or something for the third time, and we just looked at each other and we were like, I hate this fucking song.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, Willie, I'm about 45 minutes to an hour south of Savannah.
Okay.
So the Bananas next season are on the list.
Yeah.
And the last piece we'll tell you is our trip that's coming up, and we'll plug it now. We'll plug it again at the end of the show. October the 28th, Saturday, James and I will be in Jacksonville, Florida at the world's biggest cocktail party doing a Wise Guys live show from the tailgate before the Georgia-Florida game.
That is Dope.
Bro, I'm pricing grills, okay?
Yeah.
We're not doing tickets because I don't want to sit there and watch my Gators get pummeled by 60.
Yeah, but the thing is that they don't call it that anymore because they drink too much down there in Jacksonville and cause too many problems when that happens. It's no longer that. You can't call it that anymore. But I get what you're saying. It'll always be what it was.
Yeah, but that's where we're heading. He's coming in on the 27th. We're heading down like 4:30 Saturday morning. We're driving to Jacksonville.
An hour away.
Yep.
Or if I drive, we'll be there in 20 minutes.
Shut up. I still drive like a New Yorker.
Oh, God.
Well, Brother Willie, thank you so much for coming on and spending some time with us tonight. We really appreciate it. Again, the door is open, my man. And listen, if you're around that day and you feel like partaking in some stupidity, just let us know.
All right, man. I appreciate it. You guys have fun. Continue doing what you're doing. Build this thing up, man. And we'll holler at y'all again real soon.
Thanks, Willie.
Willie, it's been a pleasure, my friend.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Godfather has left the building.
Oh, I like that. That's another one we got to put on the thing.
I was going to say, I think I need to find a drop.
Yeah, you do.
I need to get this fucking board working. I don't know what the hell. I think it was like the last Chrome update or something like broke my connection to it.
Yeah, mine's had the same. My work app got knocked off. Well, yeah, I don't care. But in all seriousness, let's get to a couple other things real quick. Let's go back to the All Star game.
Yeah,
if we could. Kodai Senga was named today as one of the pitchers replacing people. So listen, Senga's had a pretty if he was as consistent as he's been his last two starts from the jump, I think we're talking about a team that's about 500. I said this to you earlier. The biggest problem with the Mets is Diaz's injury and shortening that bullpen the way they've had to. David Robertson's not a closer. He's done phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, but he's not a closer. Adam Ottavino has pitched well, but besides those two, there is no one they can count on. Brooks Raley, who they brought in from Tampa, was supposed to be another bridge. Drew Smith was supposed to take a step, and none of them have. Where I think the Mets can make up their ground is that their starting pitching is starting to get a little consistent, unlike San Diego. And the Marlins are starting to come back to earth a little bit.
I'm sorry. It's the look on my face was not out of shock. I think I figured out why the board wasn't working.
Why is that?
I think my Chromebook was casting to my new TV in the living room.
Oh, you got the TV?
Yeah, I got the Roku TV.
Nice.
Like it's the 43-inch. But Roku actually makes it.
Yeah, no, we're looking to get that one too. I want to go bigger. I have a 43 now, and I want to go bigger. I want to get the 55.
I want to say if you like go to a Best Buy or something and get the actual Roku one, and with the Geek Squad, I want to say you're going to pay under $350 because I paid $302 and change for the 43 with the 5-year warranty on it.
Oh, that ain't bad at all, dude.
Yeah, considering, again, Roku physically makes it. The only thing is you might want to invest in a sound bar because it actually sits about 2 or 3 inches higher, so the sound has a little bit more room to travel. So there are times where the sound it's a little distant because it's got more room to move.
Well, we had a sound bar for years, and then the subwoofer went, and the whole thing went. But yeah, no. When I upgrade, I'm going to get a sound bar again. Now, is yours mounted on the wall?
No, it's actually just on a stand. Yeah, it's a. I mean, if you actually put something behind it, or like if it was mounted to the wall, I don't think that's going to be the issue because then the sound's going to be able to reverberate straight back. Mine's not.
Yeah, ours. You'll see in October when you come down the setup, but ours is basically against the wall. Let's put it this way: I watch movies on Netflix, and it's on 10 for the volume.
Yeah, mine is. I want to say when I was playing the AEW game earlier in Mortal Kombat, it was like on 12. And then when I actually went over to TV, I had to put it up to like 15 or 16, but that's out of 100.
Yeah, a little bit of OCD here. It has to be even numbers. Shut up.
Now, because I'm OCD too, but it's like I actually haven't bothered to pay enough attention to that. I know in my car, which actually goes up to 30, most of the time it's like if I want it to be quiet, I'm very OCD where it's got to be 10 or 11. If it's normal traveling and I got all the windows down, it's going to be 15, and then it's going to be 20 if it's something I want to blast.
Speaking of music, you're into the heavy metal, death metal, stuff like that. Always have been. What's the weirdest band name you've ever heard? Because I have two. And one I have talked to the Lord of the Pants about, and he said he would go see a band titled this.
How much time do we have? Considering who my best friend is.
I agree. Listen, I took a nap and I already cashed the coffee. I'm good for a little bit. Let me give you the two I'm talking about. The one I talked to the Lord of the Pants about, the name of the band would have been Fupa and Ball Sweat.
I've heard of them.
The other one actually happened tonight. Bobby, Steph got home. She's sitting on the couch. Bobby's walking behind her. And she says the words, "Get off of me. Your toes are in my ass crack." Toes in my ass crack would be the other one.
That's good.
I like that one.
The three that immediately
I would go see Toes in my ass crack.
The three that immediately come to mind for me are Impaled Northern Moon Forest.
Okay.
And then the two that Frankie listens to that I heard some of their stuff and I like it. Cock Punch.
Okay.
Where their mascot is a chicken. And Bro Job.
You do understand this is an off the rails segment, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Very good.
And you've also seen some of the shit that I listen to. Shit, now I got to pull up my YouTube music library again.
Yes, I have.
Because I listen to some weird ones. I listen to a Swedish band that has 3 singers. A female clean singer, a male clean singer who sounds like he's singing from a power metal band in the 80s, and a screamer.
Knowing you as long as I have, that doesn't shock me one bit.
No.
So back to the All Star game, the home run derby field is set. I see.
Yeah, I'm actually glad you brought that up because I figure we can actually fill out a little bracket if we wanted to.
Oh, yay!
It'll give us practice. It'll give us practice for January.
Yes,
or December or whatever.
Well, this December it's still 4.
Oh, okay.
It'll give us practice for next year when we have to do the Charlie Day NCAA basketball tournament bracket.
Oh, you mean the NCAA basketball tournament?
Basically. So, did you see my favorite first round matchup? Yeah,
you get a rematch.
Pete Alonso and Julio Rodriguez. Is Pete the number 2 overall seed? I thought I read.
Okay, I'm gonna run through them here. I actually should have had graphics made. The first matchup, number 1 seed Robert Jr. of the White Sox with 25 home runs against Adley Rutschman of Baltimore with 11. He's the 8th. Alonso, the 2nd seed for the Mets with 25. Julio Rodriguez of Seattle is the 7th seed at 13. A rematch from the first round last year. Second round. 3 seed Mookie Betts from the Dodgers, who's got 23, going up against Vlad Jr., who's got 13 at the break, or at least when these pairings were announced. Because I think somebody else hit 1 or 2 since these were announced. And then the 4-5 matchup is very interesting. Garcia from Texas against Randy Arozarena.
Oh, I like that one.
Garcia's got 21 and Arozarena's got 16.
So let's start at the top. I'm going to go chalk on the top. I think Luis Roberts going to win that. Shout out to Alex. The 2-7. Gee, I wonder who I'm going with.
Betts and Vlad. That's fun.
Dude.
That one is Garcia Arozarena is probably the best matchup of the first round, but Betts and Vlad Jr., there's your prize fight.
I agree. I almost want to go Vlad Jr. in that.
I'm almost thinking the same thing because Betts hits with consistency, but Vlad gets in a groove.
Yeah, we saw what he did in 2019 at the Jake. If he gets in a groove. And I'll be honest with you. As much as I loved Pete winning in 19 and in 21, that Jock Peterson Vlad showdown was my favorite derby since Josh Hamilton.
I've always been partial to Mark and Fenway.
If I'm going old style, it's Josh Hamilton at Yankee Stadium, and it's Junior in Baltimore.
Yeah, I like those, but just McGuire hitting them across the street from Fenway and just the mob, because that was like right in the middle of the chase as well. Where's the game this year?
Seattle.
Which actually means that ball's not going to carry all that well with the humidity and coming off the ocean there. And Vlad's a little bit.
I like Pete.
I think in that Betts Vlad matchup, I'm starting to lean a little bit more towards Vlad, because Betts, when he crushes, he's a little bit more line drive, whereas Vlad's a little bit more uppercut.
Yeah, and the thing is, you got to hit it into the middle of the second deck to get the 440 where they're putting the bonus thing at.
Right, and especially with Vlad playing at Rogers Center.
Yeah,
he's kind of used to weird climates like that, where where Mookie they're playing in 80, 90 degrees, 80, 90, 100 degrees with lots of humidity every day, but there's no moisture out there in Chavez Ravine.
No, there's not. Off topic, the Baseball Hall of Fame, just like my response to something on Threads.
I'm really, really liking that app.
I am. The question is, what is the center of your baseball universe? And I shared what one of the T-shirt companies did is the Mets, what they think the Mets City Edition should be.
I saw that.
And obviously for me, it's Queens. So, I mean, but dude, I'd buy that jersey. If they did that, I'd buy that jersey. I asked the guy if he's doing a fat guy size. He hasn't done it yet. I got no shame.
What's the thing that you're waiting on with the app more than anything right now?
With Threads?
Yeah.
The ability to put a GIF on things.
Yeah, because I actually had to type in when I posted the show link. I couldn't post the link itself directly because there's no browser support. That's what I'm waiting on first, more than anything right now. But I actually had to physically type it in. They've already. I mean, and there's also like when I first signed up when it went live on Wednesday, like 8 or 9 teams I already follow are there, and the rest of them that weren't are there now.
Yeah.
I think the Browns just activated theirs the other day. The Cardinals just put theirs up earlier today.
Mets are on.
Yeah, the browser version is what I'm waiting on, and I think they've already said that's going to come very, very soon, because you figure they've got to be able to start putting advertisers, and businesses are going to be able to edit with that, because they can't do. There's certain things you can't do through a phone.
Yeah, the hell was I going to say? Yeah, because when you put the response to me telling Willie that you would send him the link for tonight, the wash the jet, gas up the car, I was going to hit you with an eye roll so hard.
Yeah,
side eye monkey.
It's for those of you who don't know, on my page, Willie and Mike were going back and forth with about Mike inviting Willie on after Willie joined the app a couple of days late because of his trip, and then. He said Willie asked for a link for the show, and Mike said something to the effect of, "My co-host
will supply the link," and I tagged you in it.
And I said to paraphrase the line from Screech, Jim do this, Jim do that, Jim wash Willie's yacht, Jim gas up Mike's private jet. They'll be sorry when I'm gone. With about 9 smiley faces afterwards.
And I was going to hit you with the side-eye monkey so hard. Jackass. Anyway.
Wait a minute. That's going to come up on Friday night.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
jackass.
You're not gonna make this putt.
Yeah, jackass. I think I need to clip that.
Yeah, you do. No, you know what you need to clip? But Grizzly Adams did have a beard.
There's so much more I could do with this board too, if I can get it working.
We'll get it working.
Yeah.
But going back to the Derby, I like Pete in the 2-7. I like Luis Robert in the
1-8.
In the 1-8. In the 3-6, that's who again? Is that
that's Betts and Vlad?
Betts and Vlad? Yeah, I gotta go Vlad. I think the last two I'm going with the lower seed, and I think Arozarena is going to win his.
I kind of like Garcia, and there's also part of me that doesn't want Arozarena to advance because there's always that one guy every year that swings himself out, and I don't want it to be Arozarena because I would like to see Tampa win it all this year with the way that they're playing.
Yeah, dude, they're going to have a hard time with Atlanta, and you know I hate that team. I hate them.
They will, and right now, let's also be honest. It's like that's almost like destiny at this particular point with the way that
it really is. The only thing that stops that World Series, in my opinion, is an injury.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that stops it. To either Wander Franco or Margot or Arozarena, or on the Brave side to either Riley or Acuna, somebody or a pitcher goes down. That is the only way we're not getting that. Listen, I think the Mets are going to get in. I really do. I think the way they're playing now is the way this team is built. They go for 7 in a row tonight in San Diego. But yeah, I think we're headed toward a Tampa Bay Atlanta World Series. And my area of the world is going to be absolutely insufferable. Because I'm going to root for Tampa.
And you guys just got underway, too.
Didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Yeah, no, I ain't staying up.
Guardians, I want to say, are in first place in over 500.
Yes, they are. 45 and 44.
And the Twins lost, too.
Yeah, they retook first place today. Why did Clase withdraw, by the way?
I think he said something about it's like for the best players, and I'm not one of them right now.
Well, that's basically what Lindor said too. Did you hear they asked him? Because Padromo from the Diamondbacks is taking Dansby Swanson's spot, who was just put on the IL. And they asked him, "Are you mad that you're not in?" Because Lindor's numbers, dude, if he does exactly what he did in the first half and the second half, he's going to go 240, which is not a great batting average. 32, 112, 35 steals. He's going to go 30-30. And he's not in the All Star game. He'll also be only the 4th switch hitter all time to go 30-30.
And what about Acuna already?
Dude,
steals at the break.
Yo, I want to know what Ricky Henderson talked to him about, because that's just insanity. He's the one that I'm afraid for. I mean, I still want to know what pictures with Dwight Howard at a club they got all these young Atlanta players with, because that's the only reason they're signing these deals. Acuna would be a free agent after this season, and you would be talking about over $1.5 billion in contracts between him and Ohtani.
Let's actually look at where the teams. I mean, and we'll get to the second round of the Derby here in a moment. But as I've got the standings up right now. What if you had to predict an ALCS and an NLCS based off of where it is right now? Are you thinking Tampa, Baltimore, or Tampa, Texas?
Tampa, Anaheim.
Even though the Angels are right at 500 and 7 back and lost 4 in a row.
Oh no, Trout's hurt. Never mind.
Yep. Because who knows when he'll be back.
Tampa Gardos in the LCS.
I don't know. Yeah, the Cardinals are not built that way to run that deep.
Their arms are. Listen, Clase is going to right himself. I'm telling you.
He could, but Bieber could get moved. Sticks is probably going to get shut down for the year, and I don't put a whole lot of faith in these kids right now.
Listen, man, if they're in first place, Bieber's not getting moved. Bieber will get moved in the offseason.
I don't think there's just something about they had the magic last year. I don't see it.
Well, listen.
Say that. I don't see it.
And I understand that. I didn't see the magic coming with the Mets won 101 games this year. I didn't see that this year. Even in spring training. Before Verlander got hurt and before Diaz got hurt, I didn't see 101 wins on the table. If you had to put me down, now granted, I was out of the sports world for a little bit because of my move. But if you would have asked me on the night we did the Wisies, what I thought the Mets were going to end up at this year, I would have told you 93 wins. Which they still, they've got to go crazy, but they've got a realistic shot at it. They've got to win they're 43 and 46 now or something like that.
42 and 46.
They've got to win 44 games. They've got to win 50 games. Because as bad as they played in June, because June is what did it. They're 7 and 16 in June.
I mean, your run differential is finally, back into the black, which is good.
But this is what I'm talking about. The starting pitching starting to get healthy, and they're starting to get consistent. And Quintana is on the way. He'll be here after the All Star break. So we're finally going to see that rotation at full strength by the 1st of August. I think they can make a run to the 6th seed. I don't think they get out of the first round.
Right.
But they can make a run to the 6th seed. So ALCS, I'm going to stick with my pick. I'm going to say Gardo's in Tampa.
I think I'm going to go Tampa, Baltimore.
Okay. In the NLCS, it's going to be Blue Bloods. It's going to be Atlanta and the Dodgers. Corbin Carroll, it may be done. Right there, you take that long lineup in Arizona and you shrink it. And their pitching is not built for 162. I just watched them for the last 3 days.
This might be, I don't want to say homer, and it might be threads on the brain for bandwagoning. And I think you know where I'm going by that. Could it be out of the realm of possibility we get Atlanta and Cincinnati with as hot as the Reds are playing?
It's not out of the realm of possibility. Here is where I think Cincinnati's going to come back down to earth. Their offense is spectacular. Ellie De La Cruz is spectacular. I just replaced Lindor.
Washington the other night.
That was great. I hate Dave Martinez, and what you said was absolutely right. But I just replaced Lindor on my Diamond Dynasty team with Ellie De La Cruz. So that's where I think of him. Jimmy, their arms aren't ready. October's about pitching. You're not going to run into the 5th starter on the Washington Nationals in October.
But here's where I think it works for them a little bit, because if they get in, they're going to be a lower seed, whether they actually have to go to Chavez Ravine or if they've actually got to go down to your backyard down there. And it's still going to be hot down there later in the season, which means that ball's going to carry, which means they're the pop in their bats may be able to make up for their inexperience with the arms.
Yeah, but they're going to host in Cincinnati
for the first round, maybe. But I mean, if things run chalk, when you're talking LCS, and possibly if you get into the World Series, where you're going to have to more than likely have to play Tampa, you're still going to be, well, then again, even with Tampa in a dome, it still works out because it's climate control, which means the warmer the temperature, the better the ball's going to carry for them.
I agree. Where I disagree is, let's say the Mets get in. Let's say my dream comes true and the Mets get in. That's how the Mets get to the LDS, is by going to Cincinnati and throwing Scherzer, Verlander, and Kodai Senga against a young team who likes to swing the bat, and no matter how well they're doing, strikes out a lot. They're a high strikeout lineup, and you're going to face high strikeout staffs. This is why the New York Yankees will not win a World Series as currently constructed. There, I said it. Yes, Aaron Judge hit 60 bombs. Aaron Judge is going to strike out 200 times a year.
Right.
Giancarlo Stanton's just short of 400 bombs. He's going to strike out 250 times a year.
So let's go on to the second round here.
Pete.
We've got Robert and Alonso, and then you and I have both agreed we're going Vlad and Garcia.
I'm going to Rosarena.
Okay. So
that means Pete would pull.
I'm going Robert, Alonso, Vlad, and then Vlad versus Garcia, and you're going Robert, Alonso, Vlad, and Rosarena.
Yep. So a Rosarena would pull Pete. Vlad would pull Robert.
Yep. I still have to
Vlad,
go Robert.
Pete and Vlad. It's a rematch of the 2019 final. For me, anyway.
I'm gonna go the opposite, and not just out of spite. It's just I'm thinking Garcia and Robert.
It's not a bad pick. Well, then in the finals, I'm just going to say it. I got Pete winning his third, tying the record held by Ken Griffey Jr., winning his third home run derby. Who you got between Robert and Randy?
And Garcia.
Or Garcia, I'm sorry.
I'm thinking Garcia because I think
You're going dark horse.
Yeah, a little bit here. Because Texas has been a surprise. I mean, really, outside of Robert, what is there to cheer about with the White Sox?
Tony La Russa is not their manager anymore.
Exactly. And so, because we remember what Alex said about him. Pulse.
That was great. I watched that today.
A few weeks ago.
I watched that today. So, yeah. So, I've got Pete. You've got Garcia as your home run derby champion. Have they announced the starters for the pitching yet or no?
No, that'll probably be sometime tomorrow.
Either tomorrow, probably Monday.
Potentially Monday, but I've actually said, there have been instances where they've announced them in the middle of the day on the last day before.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Dude, I can't believe we're at the All Star break already.
Yeah.
We got 3 months, Jim.
It's the most boring time of the years because the British Open's not for a few weeks. Teams are going to be a little sluggish coming out of the break. Wimbledon is only just started. We've got nothing going on right now.
All right, so let's do some handicapping real quick. Mets come out of the break, home for the Dodgers, home for the White Sox, at Boston, at the Yankees. Then they get a reprieve, home for Washington, in Kansas City, in Baltimore. Home for the Cubs, home for the Braves, home for the Pirates, in St. Louis, in Atlanta, home for the Angels, unfortunately home for Texas, which would have been Jacob deGrom's homecoming. That ends August. September is Seattle, Washington, Minnesota, Arizona, Cincinnati, Miami, Philadelphia, Miami, Philadelphia. They don't play the Braves again after the 23rd of August. They've owned Philadelphia. They've owned Miami. And they've got the bulk of their Washington games in there.
It could be advantageous for you guys because you're going to be beating up on some pretty bad teams in there.
They played the toughest part of their schedule in the first half, really in the month of June. I said this to my father. I said, I think the month of July, to paraphrase the movie Tora, 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 has awoken a sleeping giant. I still have faith they get it done. I really do. And I'll tell you what, let's hop to what the Gardos got left and see what they can do.
I'll get that one.
All right.
Because they finish up with Kansas City tomorrow to go into the break.
Oh, by the way, I know we've said it before, and I'll say it again. Josh Naylor's an absolute fucking dog.
Absolutely. And Josh Bell's starting to wake up, too.
Yeah, that's going to be huge.
Okay, second half, they start at Texas, at Pittsburgh, home to Philly, home to Kansas City, then go on a roadie in Chicago, go to the north side, then Houston, back home for the Sox and Jays, at Tampa, at Cincinnati, Battle of Ohio, home for Detroit, and then the Dodgers, at Toronto, at Minnesota, home to Tampa, home to Minnesota. That takes us to Labor Day. And then we're at the Angels, at the Giants, back home for 3 against Texas, then right back out on the road against Kansas City. And then they finish up the last 2 weeks of the year, home to Baltimore, home to Cincinnati, finish up at Detroit. That's not fun.
No, it's not. Let me say this. I still think they win the Central. But it's going to be, what was it? 95, they won 100 games. 96, they won 98. 97, I think they won 89. I think this is going to be like a 97. They're going to be like 88, 89 wins.
Yeah, I think Alex and I brought this up a couple of weeks ago, is that this was going to be one of those years where it's like you're going to get a division winner that's going to be barely over 500, and I think the Guardians are that winner because Cincinnati has kind of put some distance with their record in the Central.
Yeah, but I think Cincinnati's going to come back to earth. I'm telling you.
I still think the winner of that division finishes with a little bit more distance than how the Guardians are going to be closer to 500.
Possibly. But they're also only going to be, both Central Division teams are going to be the 3 seed.
Right, and they're going to be playing with house money at that particular point.
Yeah, so you figure it's going to be like last year, the 3 seed in the National League was
Cardinals?
Yes, was the Cardinals who won the Central. And they got the Phillies who smoked them. The Mets and Padres were the 4-5, and it's like, yeah, the Mets had 101 wins and ended up at the 4 seed. I don't want to talk about it. Sorry. So in all seriousness, each team has a path. Because I don't think Minnesota's got what it takes. Carlos Correa is garbage.
Because he's on his 7th team in 4 months.
And a fake ankle. Yeah, and as far the Eastern Division's over in the National League, it's over.
And yet, what's funny is as great as the Rays started out, Baltimore is right on their ass.
Yo, Baltimore is nasty. Who's Gunnar? Is it Gunnar Henderson? Is that the kid they called up to? Because they called up like 4 dudes this year already that are just raking.
I mean, Austin Hayes is leading them with hitting 312. Santander, 14 homers and 48 RBIs. I'm actually kind of surprised that he's not in the Derby.
Well, Hayes is going to start now because of the injuries.
And yet, with their batting statistics, they're 9th in runs, 14th in average, 15th in on base, and 11th in slugging. But and their pitching is worse. They're 16th in ERA, tied for 13th in quality starts. They're 23rd in batting average right now. So, I mean, you look at those are middle of the road numbers, but yet they're 18 over 500 and only 2 games behind a team that set the world on fire for the first 2 months of the year.
Yeah, no, they're playing well.
And name the last time a number one overall player actually started to, started to live up to his billing like Adley Rutschman's done.
He has been a revelation. Going back to numbers, here's Lindor's numbers as of right now. 238, 19, and 60.
I didn't realize because I'm looking at Baltimore's numbers, that the Rays have lost 7 in a row.
Yeah, they've fallen back to earth.
Wow.
Why do you think I think Cincinnati's going to fall back to earth?
Could the Rays have blown themselves out a little bit? Could the Orioles be playing rope-a-dope right now?
It's possible. I still think Tampa wins the East. But Baltimore's going to get in. And if Baltimore gets in, you know who's not going to get in?
The Yankees.
Did you see the other night Harrison Bader made an error and Garrett Cole turns around and goes, I got you. Next pitch, dude hit it in the seats.
That's what, the funny thing is that as a Cardinals fan, the three big guys the two legends we lost last year, and Wainwright's probably been done for the last couple of years, and I'm still not over Harrison Bader.
I don't blame you. I like Harrison Bader.
Kind of reminds me of just with his athleticism and everything that he can do. He almost kind of reminds me of a Savannah Banana. And I'm so sorry that they got rained out for you last night when we were supposed to watch them.
You know what, though? Bobby didn't go to sleep till late because he didn't nap till late, and then we had to go. We got his haircut yesterday. I'll send you the picture. Dude, he looks so grown up.
I saw I think Mrs.
Facebook
posted the photo. Yeah.
Oh, no, I put him up.
But they got, I want to say they got 2 innings in, and then the rain came, and then they started playing Mario Super Sluggers in the broadcast booth, and then eventually called the game about a half hour, 40 minutes later.
Oh, okay. So I'm doing the bracket challenge right now for the home run derby. There's a change to what we got to do. So you were right with the matchups. Robert Rutschman, Garcia Rosarena, Betts Guerrero, Alonso Rodriguez. Second round, Luis Robert would get, like in mine, would get Randy Rosarena. They don't reseed it.
Okay.
So it's a Rosarena against Robert, and then in the second round, we'd get Vladdy and Pete.
I'd still get Robert and Garcia, which actually just means it would be my finals matchup in a round earlier.
Yeah, I'm submitting my pick right now. Which player? Now, so they have required questions at the end. So we'll answer this together.
Tiebreakers, yeah.
Which player will hit the longest home run in the Derby as measured by StatCast?
Vlad.
Just enter the seed number. You got Vlad, I got Pete. No, I'll do Vlad. So I'll put 6. What will the distance of the longest home run hit be? 489 is popping up. Did you say it after I started saying it?
I think it was the same time.
Oh, wow. No, not 6,489, just 489.
What is this? The MLB triple play 99 cheat code where you can bunt a home run out of the stadium?
Nice. I've been playing home run derby at this joint on the game. I hit one 3/4 way up the second deck. It was 425. How many home runs will we hit in the entire derby? Don't say 69, asshole.
No. In honor of Keith Olbermann, 206.
Did you watch any of the Harry Potter movies?
No.
There's a scene where 206 in the whole thing?
Yeah.
Dude, Vladdy hit 90-something when he lost a few years ago. I'm going with the Harry Potter answer, and it's 394. How many dingers will the winner hit total? What do you say we give a shout out to one of our graduating years?
95.
You were 96.
Yeah, I know.
All right, we'll say 95.
Shows you how much I actually thought of my 4 years there.
Yeah, I didn't either. Please enter your name. Big Rican. No, I'm kidding. All right, so the Wise Guys bracket goes in. What do you win if you do this? Tell you what, if we win, I will split the prize with you.
Fair enough. 80-20.
Yeah, because it's on my thing. I get the 80.
Oh, the AEW game. I just got an update on it the other day. This would be funny as hell. And I think I need Alex to get his copy. They're coming out with an update. They have this match. They call it Stadium Stampede, where it's a 5-on-5, but they fight all over a football stadium, and they've done it a couple of times.
Nice.
They fought all over where the Jaguars play. And I'm
That's
talking
because
like
Khan owns the Jaguars.
the scoreboard, the bar, everything.
Was Jericho in that match?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
There have been two of them. I think he was in both of them. Because I want to say Sammy Guevara got chased down by a golf cart.
Somebody got hit with glasses in a bar.
That was Hangman Adam Page. I do remember that one of the Young Bucks did Northern Lights suplexes on somebody of the opposing team. I'm trying to remember who it is. And they went the entire 100 yards. Started at one goal line and kept going all the way to the other. It must have been 35, 40 suplexes, one right after the other.
Jesus.
But there's now a game mode that they're adding to the game that's going to be free, that's going to be turning this game into Fortnite, where you will be able to fight all over the stadium and last man standing wins. 30 guys at once.
That's terrible.
That's fucking amazing. And I suck at Fortnite because my aim is off. But this is going to be funny trying to throw somebody out of the second deck of the stadium.
That would be funny.
I can't wait. They need to have that. I need that update, and I need the Threads update like by the end of the month.
That's all right. I was playing yesterday when Bobby was napping, and my Road to the Show guy, I just had a bad outing against the Braves. I gave up a dinger to Acuna, and I was like, you know what? They're going to pull me right here. I'm just going to do it. Austin Riley took one in the dome. I didn't get pulled. I got thrown out. I love that game. What was the other thing we want to talk about quick?
Yes. It's a matter of fact, I'm actually glad that you brought that up.
Jerseys, right?
Yeah, we ran out of time with this last week. The NHL had a major faux pas last week when it was announced that for next season, they will hold nights like Military Appreciation Night and Pride Night and Hockey Fights Cancer Night, but teams will not be allowed to wear specialty jerseys and warm-ups anymore.
Then what the hell's the point?
Exactly, considering it was one of the team's best money makers, because all of those jerseys would be worn in warm-ups, not in the game, but they would be worn in warm-ups and they would be autographed and auctioned off after the game. And teams would generate upwards of six figures worth, high five, low six figures to go towards these respective charities. What's it going to say if the NHL is trying to say that hockey is for everyone, and yet they've just alienated everyone to do it?
You know what the thing is about the NHL, Jim? And we talked about this a little bit too. Part of the issue with the NHL is the media teabagging by the NFL to ESPN and the curtailing and cowtailing to the NFL by ESPN. The NHL was gigantic at one point in time because ESPN carried Hockey Night in America, like they have Hockey Night in Canada. Oh, sidebar. Did you see? Did I send you the TikTok where Dangle took the chop from the wrestler?
Yes, Eric Young.
Yeah.
There are. I could probably name on one hand the number of guys other than Eric Young you could never pay me to take a chop from. He's probably in my top 5.
Dangle went over. That was great.
Yes.
But the biggest thing holding the
also
NHL back
left Sportsnet, so he's actually now running his own podcast full time.
Oh, nice.
So I don't have dang it's or hat picks anymore unless they figure something else out.
Well, they'll have dang it's again.
Well, it won't be. I mean, it won't be him because that's his name unless he actually does something like that, on his show.
Well, that's what I mean. He's probably going to do something like that on the show. So the other big thing with the NHL is Gary Bettman can't get his head out of his own ass.
Right. It's, a lot. And this was all brought on by towards the end of the season when teams were having pride nights that a lot of players, not even a lot of players, it was only a handful of players that were saying they would not wear them because it goes against their religious beliefs. I want to say James Reimer, goaltender for the Sharks, said it. Ivan Provorov said something about it when he was with the Flyers. But Provorov also, some of the Russian players said that they wouldn't do it because with the tyrant over there was like extending things that it would like going against the religion, or actually they like extended the laws even if you're like living in another country for shit like that.
Yeah, no, and listen, I understand people have objections to it. I understand people don't, not everybody thinks like me. And the way I think about things like that is you do you, boo. I'm going to do me. I'm not going to tell you how to do things. I don't want you to tell me how to do things.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's like me. Thank God. Although I think the world would be a much better place if more people were like the Big Rican. Not you. You're an entity all to your own, my friend.
But the idea that you would have Military Appreciation Night to be able to go out there and wear those camo jerseys, and some of these guys have players over in the military, and now they can't even support them even in warm-ups.
Yeah, see, and the thing is about that, especially with the charity angle, and never mind Pride Night, this and everything. Let's talk about the charity angle. Let's talk about how each team and each league gives to charity every year and does these things. And my company used to be huge with March of Dimes. As the father of a preemie, I'm pretty big with March of Dimes too.
Mm-hmm.
So on that angle, you are losing public perception. You're already the redheaded stepchild of major pro sports in North America. Why?
Because that's ironic because that you mentioned that, because of the major pro sports in this country, soccer is still a niche, but it's still run better than the NHL is.
I think the MLS is run better than most of the other ones.
Right.
Because the MLS, yes, it's a little niche in this country.
And it's never going to get over.
By the way, it will, because Messi just went to Miami.
That's going to last about as long as Beckham in LA. It's a novelty.
Yeah, but Beckham in LA was still technically under contract with his Premier League team and had to go back and play for England. Messi cut all ties. He's Miami full time until the World Cup qualifiers.
It doesn't matter. It's still soccer. This country's never going to get over here because, we're getting Messi, but it's like Messi on the back half of his career. And the fact that the national team can't even get to the knockout round in the World Cup. Who cares?
Speaking of, see, Megan Rapinoe is going to retire after the women win their next cup.
See, the Women's World Cup I've watched. That's entertaining, and kudos for them naming Alex Morgan as a captain.
Oh, absolutely. Now, dude, let me tell you, I've watched both World Cups. The biggest final I've ever seen was the women's one that was here in '99. when they beat China at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, the most entertaining one I've ever seen was where was the one in Canada a few years ago, where the U.S. won like 5-2 over,
smoked them.
Carly Lloyd, that hat trick in the first 12 minutes.
Yeah, and that was what they thought was going to be Megan Rapinoe's last game, but of course she kept playing. She's going to retire from the NWSL because there's a women professional league in the United States too. Didn't know that. No, but that 99 championship, the legendary Brandy Chastain jersey comes flying off. The Kevin Garnett and Stephon Marbury ESPN commercial playing foosball.
Yep.
And he looks there and goes, "What's up with the shirt?"
What's in it?
So, yeah, no, and it's...
I was always much more partial to Julie Foudy.
Don't blame you. I was a Mia Hamm guy.
Or as Jim Rome used to call her, Tony Miola Chastain.
Tony Miola, what a prick he was, too. We had people we knew that actually went to the World Cup game that was at Cleveland Stadium when they did when it was here in '94. But I digress. I think the NHL is going to miss the boat on this. I think the pregame stuff that you can do and then auction off for, like, my favorite thing Major League Baseball does is Mother's Day.
Pink bats, yeah.
And the pink bats are all, and everything goes to Suji Komen. I think it's wonderful. Being a Met fan, I have a vested interest. We lost Shannon Ford, who was in the PR department, to breast cancer several years ago. So that's a little bit more with me. But yeah, no, Gary Bettman, he's just keep digging that grave, Gary.
Yeah,
we need the dummy sound Willie used earlier for him. Right, Gary Bettman, you just made the list.
Dummy sound bites.
Nice. Put a second one on there, and it's titled "Listen, Dummy." It's Slim Pickens from Blazing Saddles.
I get a better one.
Get no kick from champagne.
Well, if you're going to start singing, I can't even remember the words to it now.
Do you know, as a Met fan, I remember that because when he goes, some people get a kick from cocaine. That's the first thing I thought of was that '86 team. And that should have been all people get a kick from cocaine.
We almost could have brought it up during Wembyama, but you're doing the French mistake.
Wrong. It sounds like steam escaping. Dude, that one, I can go every line of the movie.
I have not seen it all the way through in years, but I will say this much. If I ever want a refresher, there's a channel that I watch, and they do first-time reactions, but they've seen it before, so they're going back and rewatching it again, and just watching both of them just lose their shit over all of this, because it's a husband and wife, and the husband is just you can always tell he's kind of getting warm and fuzzy with the Madeline Kahn stuff. It's
Do you know she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress for that movie?
Yep.
Oh, by the way, you have not lived until you've watched. You haven't lived until you've watched the reactors, the African American reactors on YouTube. Watch Blazing Saddles.
I've seen a couple of them.
The one dude stopped the tape at the beginning. He's like, I can't believe they're doing this.
Because you never get away with it now because they're all younger.
Oh,
you know?
hell no.
I found a channel. like last night about 2 a.m. when I couldn't sleep, and I've actually been binging their stuff. I was cutting video today. They're called the React Channel, and I guess they actually they've been around for years, but it's a combination of like adults and then like millennials, and then the one that I watched was from last month, and it was like, do you remember this stuff from 1999? And like one of the girls was actually sitting with AJ McClain from the Backstreet Boys asking questions about stuff like that, like literally next to her asking Backstreet Boy questions, and AJ McClain was getting shit wrong about his own music.
Speaking of cocaine,
I liked AJ.
I like them all. Look, man, remember, the group O-Town included a kid from Twinsburg who was in show choir at the same time I was, and I knew him personally.
The one that I'm in the middle of is they are reacting to songs from the last decade that you may have forgot about the artist but not forgot the song. And then when JoJo came up, one of the girls said wanted to fight somebody.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
This girl couldn't have been any older than 26.
When did 26 become like juvenile to us?
That's very true. They also did another one on this channel where it was women watch action movies for the first time, and the same girl actually said she's never seen Die Hard, and I said I was in love with her. I literally commented I was in love with her up until that. It's blasphemous. Then I found out she's a lesbian.
There's one better than that. I saw something on TikTok where the guy goes, "You're my soulmate. You're my Death Star, my Darth Vader." And she goes, "I've never seen Star Wars." He goes, "I expect your shit to be packed and out of my house in an hour."
I don't have to pack up my shit here.
Shout out, John. So we're quickly approaching the 2-hour mark, James. And I think it's time for us to do our version of the Wisey Translator. So we will once again introduce a segment.
How do you have that up, by the way? Okay.
You share on mine, I have the board, but also each individual sound clip is individualized.
Okay.
In my drive, the way I downloaded it.
Okay. I'm gonna have to do that way, but I'm gonna figure out how to get this damn board working tonight before I go to bed.
You're good. Dude, you're good. So again, the Wisey Translator, Jim and I will do ours. Of course, if you didn't catch about an hour ago with what Willie did, we did the Oakland A's, which he said brilliant. Obviously, he had a different take on it. I thought Rachel Phelps. Someone said that on Twitter today, and I laughed my ass off. What? Some of these guys are furniture movers?
Stadium's falling apart. If we don't draw a dick, the weather's lousy. 2 out of 3 of those apply to the A's right now.
It really does. Here's a list of players we're inviting to this year's camp.
This guy here is dead.
Cross him off.
Save it for Friday.
Dude, I could do this every day with that movie.
Yeah, but we got so many to cover. You and I are going to be going back and forth with things to add, because we're not going to be talking very much sports on Friday night.
No, we're really not. But the one thing I will say, we went Mel Brooks before, and I will say this: on a normal day, I'm surrounded by assholes.
You know, morons.
Mungo only pawn in Game of Life. Anyway. James, your first name in the Wisey Translator, and be nice, is Davey Martinez.
I'm going to have to do some editing here, so you're going to actually have to remind me, Davey Martinez. Is that the
Manager from the Nationals.
Okay. Start that again, if you could, because I'm going to have to edit that. The name and everything. Take two.
Take two. Jim, your name for the first YZ translator is Davey Martinez.
Get off my lawn.
I like it. He manages like he hits very little.
Here's a thought, Davey. If you don't want the best pure hitter in baseball right now that's taken everybody by storm, not to actually point at the bat, when you've seen him hit these towering moonshots, don't check his bat and expect him not to do the same thing when he dots you a few innings later for the second time that night.
I agree.
Tell your team not to lose 100 games this year, and we'll talk. But until then, shut up, go inside, and put on the people's court.
Listen, man, wow. Don't bring Marilyn Million into this. That's not right.
I was going Judge Wapner because he's old enough.
My wife and mother-in-law watched it every day. Marilyn Million's on my brain. Anyway, sidebar. Outside of the dismantling of the Florida Marlins, has there been a bigger collapse after a World Series?
I can't remember one, but I think what the difference was is that the Marlins went out and tried to buy theirs. At least with the Nats, they had a little bit of homegrown talent, whereas the Marlins didn't.
No, they had a few. The shortstop, Miguel Cabrera, was on the second team. He was homegrown. Jeff Conine, who was on the first one, was homegrown.
Yeah, but
Cliff Floyd, who was on the first one, was homegrown.
Yeah, but those, I mean, it's a little bit of homegrown talent, but we're not talking like, their core, their key guys. Whereas with the Nats, Bryce Harper was homegrown. Ryan Zimmerman was homegrown. Strasburg was
Trey
homegrown.
Turner, Strasburg,
Exactly.
yeah.
That was all of their big guns were all homegrown, just signed a massive, massive deals. The Marlins just went out and bought it.
No, I agree. What do you got for me, Jim?
It would be like the Browns winning the Super Bowl and going out and buying Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, and Aaron Donald right now.
Do you see Josh Allen's dating Haley Steinfeld?
Can I say the man wins at life sometimes?
No, if he could stop throwing the ball to everybody but his fucking receivers, he'd be all right.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine. As long as it's not Aaron Rodgers, we don't care.
Very true.
Michael, your name in the YZ translator this evening, and I got to make sure I'm pushing the right button for a change here.
I'll do it.
Alex Manoah.
Showed up your ass, puke mouth. Did you see he went 6 innings, 1 run, like 9 or 10 strikeouts in his first start back? Oh boy, here we go.
I have not learned this in a year, and the pin is pulled out, and it's still right twice a day.
Oh, you're an asshole. It's a nice watch, Jim.
Thank you.
How long have you been waiting to do that joke?
Quite a while, which is probably about the same length of time since I've worn that.
That's why I wear a smartwatch.
I don't like anything huge on my wrist. That's why I just wear really, really thin bracelets.
No, this one it looks like a regular watch. It's a Garmin. It's round. It's not one of those monstrosities like the Apple watches. I love it.
And I really like that one too. But it's like I only wear that if I dress up.
Nice.
Why is there a part of me that actually thinks that Ali is going to tip
the back of the seat, the cushion's higher, and then it's got something underneath it.
I was gonna say that's gonna be like one of those TikTok fail compilations. He just sits there and just.
Well, it could be like our Brush High School alum Dan Martin, who was on the news channel in Youngstown when his cat was licking himself back during the pandemic. That dude went to Brush. All right, Jim, I got one more for you.
It's just amazing, just all the shit that we went through.
It really is.
Race riots, cars through the chemistry lab, football teams sucking. We won't bring up the principal.
I was going to say pedo principal. People wonder why I do this all the time. Jim, your second name in the Wisey Translator, my friend, is Victor Wembanyama. I was going to say stilts. You ain't right. What do you got for me, dude?
Michael, your final name in the Wisey Translator tonight, I'm going to let you off the hook, and I'm going to give you a fun one.
Okay.
Ellie De La Cruz.
El Natural. Or the natural in Spanish.
Do-do. Do-do-do-do.
Dude, he is unreal. Have they found that ball in the river yet? The one that had a family?
I think it's on a milk carton down there somewhere.
As long as it's not in Nevada Skyline Chili, we'll be able to find it.
Oh God, I was just thinking of fucking Skyline Chili joke,
dude.
Gary Cohen, if he hit it into a Nevada Skyline Chili, it might actually improve the flavor.
That's true. Gary Cohen went in a couple of years ago on Skyline Chili, like a whole half inning. He just bashed the shit out of it.
I actually just started thinking about this. It's like, think of baseball and like some of your favorite things to get at the ballpark, and now actually start focusing it in on individual things you'd find in that city. Like you'd go to Cincinnati and get Skyline Chili. What would be like one of your favorite city things to get at the ballpark?
Nathan's hot dogs.
If you could go anywhere, let's say like you wanted to go to LA to get like whatever, like to get a Dodger dog, or you'd be able to go to like New York and get like New York style pizza at a game or something. What would
funny? Well, and you can do that in New York.
Right. What I'm saying, it's to take any stadium out there, whether you're a fan or not. What would be the one that you'd want to get?
I'm too simple for that, Jim. And I'm not trying to get out of the question, because it's funny you mentioned that, because Willie put up something on Threads today. Money's on object. What's your dream vacation? And I said all 30 ballparks in one summer.
Yep.
But I'm very simple. When I'm in Cleveland, it's Sugardale, it's a drink, it's a scorecard. And when I'm in New York, it's Nathan's, it's a drink, it's a scorecard. The only quote unquote exotic thing I've had at ball games was at Citi Field. There is a Shake Shack in Citi Field.
Dude.
You can't get into the joint. But my personal favorite was the only burger I've ever had at Citi Field, and that was from the Keith Hernandez Grill, where they actually had him flipping burgers one day a few years ago.
Was it served in a wrapper made out of a cotton jersey?
with cocaine on the side.
That's the second time I've made that joke on this show.
With cocaine on the side. So yeah, no, I'm very simple at the ballpark. Always have been. It's just, I think the most exotic thing I personally get at the ballpark is the ice cream in the helmet.
I would actually think I'd go ahead.
And it's at Citi Field, you can upgrade it. It's ice cream in the home run apple.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I would have to say I would want to go to Kauffman Stadium, and I'd actually want to have an authentic style Kansas City dog.
Ooh. Yo, is there a barbecue joint there?
For those of you who don't know, a Kansas City style hot dog is it's either typically a half-pound dog or it's a thicker dog, and it's covered with coleslaw, creamy coleslaw, and then Kansas City style barbecue sauce on top. And a lot of the times you have to eat it with a fork.
I'd like to go to an Atlanta Falcons game and have Chick-fil-A, but that's not possible. Don't cut my feet.
God, I hate you. God, I hate you sometimes.
You do not. You do not.
You ain't gonna believe this. As I
What?
just literally threw my phone. Since it's after 10 o'clock and it's in sleep mode, I can't even play the soundboard because it's muted.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
That wasn't the one I was gonna play, but it works.
This guy's drunk.
The guy is drunk, but there he goes.
There he goes. So we're going to shoot for Friday. And it will be another long form episode, which we're getting back into a little bit because first of all, we were very topic heavy tonight. And then we just, obviously went off the rails like we normally do. But we've had a lot to cover recently. I mean, the offseason, the NBA and the NHL has just been insanity. Baseball's gotten more interesting now that some of the teams that were playing like shit started to play well. And now we're at the All Star break. So Friday night, if you weren't with us when Willie was here, will be the Wise Ass Sports Network rides again. So Friday night's episode on the 14th will be the Wise Ass Sports Show. And basically what we're going to do is be ever loving fucking stupid. It will be a lot of one-liners from sports movies, which is where we'll keep our sports connection there.
It was WASN.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah,
that's all right. If we ever get for real and are making a lot of money to this, I'd name it the Wise Ass Sports Show too. Although Was? No. We're good the way we are.
Wasson.
Wasson.
Isn't that a cooking oil?
Just call it Pam.
That makes
Crisco.
me chill.
Crisco. Bardol. Vagisil. Yeah, if the umpire's watching me, rub a little jalapeno up on my nose, get that running, and load the ball up.
You put snot on the ball.
Haven't got an arm like yours. Got to put anything on it I can.
Someday you will too. So yeah,
you know what happened 2 days later?
So our next episode, episode 35, will probably be about 4.5 hours long. Because
it can't be. I gotta be at Lowe's the next morning to do the construction project with Bobby.
Well, you better have a whole lot of caffeine or an IV like going straight into your arm.
I'm already ready for this episode because you tapped your arm and I go, "Give me Vaughn."
That would be that. This is more Metallica. Drink up, shoot in.
The level of not right that we get to.
Hey, it was my old backyard wrestling name, dude.
I know. Which I actually do know. So one other question for you, Jim. On this Friday night, Are we sticking to sports movies, or are we going the whole thing?
We could go all over the place if we wanted to, provided we've actually seen the movie.
Well, here's the thing, because remember, the greatest cameo or acting part by a sports figure is Alex Karras as Mongo in Blazing Saddles. So we have a sports connection there.
I'm thinking.
No, I'm not going to.
I'm thinking.
No, I'm not going to punch a horse.
No, I'm thinking of when he flipped the horse, and you could tell it was a toy horse.
No, the bull having yes and no on his rear end when he walks into town.
Candygram for Mongo.
Mongo, Santa Maria. Oh boy.
God, I need to go watch that video. I need to watch that reaction video again tonight because it's even funnier watching other people laughing about what you're laughing about.
Oh yeah. It really is. There's another one. I think the channel's called Previewed. You got to watch them do the reaction to the Deadpool teaser.
Oh, by the way, Mrs. Regan, if you're watching, speaking of trailers, Mortal Kombat 1 trailer came out yesterday. Smoke is back.
Really?
Yes. They showed.
I will let her know.
It was the Lin Kuei trailer. So Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Smoke were all identified, and then there was Kung Lao and Rain, and some of the cameos involved. So like Frost is a cameo, although I wish Frost was going to be a full-fledged character because I love Frost. She's probably in my top 3 or 4 all-time favorite Mortal Kombat characters, but this game looks sick, and the fatality that they show at the end from Smoke, pun intended, it leaves his opponent speechless because
I'll let her know.
Because there's no mouth on the person afterwards.
I will let her know. So she's not watching. She's actually editing a story for somebody that she writes with. If she hasn't fallen asleep yet, but she had a Celsius. Have you seen the TikTok where the person said they drank Celsius and asked if there was methamphetamine in it? Oh my God. Because there's more caffeine in Celsius than Monster.
But there's still not enough is my favorite.
What's your favorite?
Balls. You've heard of balls.
No, I can't say that I have.
Balls is guarana. It's a 10 to 12 ounce. I want to say it's a 10 ounce bottle, and there's more caffeine in that than an entire pot of coffee.
Oh, shit.
Before we log off, Mike is going to get to see balls.
What the fuck? Get out.
There are pips on the bottle.
It's ribbed.
You could say that. The root beer is fantastic.
Is it?
You can name, and you can really only find this stuff at like computer stores because gamers use it to stay up all night.
Gotcha.
And I was introduced to this through a classic PlayStation 1 game called Run Like Hell because the tagline was grab your balls and run like hell, because this was one of the power-ups that you can go up to a vending machine and get a balls out of it to fill up 3 health bars. And somebody somewhere, and I tried it and it works, figured out with this blue bottle, if you put Pop Rocks in it, it starts fizzing and it almost turns neon, and people call it fizzy blue balls. As if there wasn't enough sugar in this.
The question is, do they have a sweaty flavor?
No, but why isn't there? I just got a notification, like somebody suggested to me, or it was like in my YouTube shorts, the one about the muffins.
The Dusty Muffin. Oh my God. And because it's Betty White, it's so perfect.
Betty White's Dusty Muffins.
Yeah, Florence Dusty. Oh, and by the way, I know you don't think it's going to end well for him, but I want to give a shout out to our boy Stipe Miocic as he's going to fight John Jones at MSG for the UFC Heavyweight Championship. I have faith in our boy from Cleveland. Both you and Mr. Creedies feel that Stipe is going to get his ass beat.
I would love to see Stipe whip the shit out of John Jones, but first of all, Stipe hasn't fought in almost 2.5 years. And God knows what John Jones is going to be hopped up on in that fight, considering it's almost like every other title fight. He actually tests positive for something afterwards, so I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if he got stripped for a 4th time after this. The only reason they're giving him Stipe is because Francis Ngannou got into a fight with Dana White and actually jumped over to the Pro Fight League, because I think Francis Ngannou is the only heavyweight in the world right now that would whip John Jones's ass and wouldn't even be close. I don't think anybody else could even give John Jones a run for his money.
I like our boy.
I would like to see Stipe do it, but again, I think the layoff is a little too much. I think John Jones going up against Stipe, nobody is going to hit harder than John Jones in his career, but and Stipe is a very good wrestler, but I don't know if he'll be able to handle Jones's unpredictability with his length.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a tough fight. I just like Stipe. It's the Cleveland, it's the heartstrings with that.
Yep.
That's why I don't bet on these things.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to go find some sort of stream here in a few and actually watch the big title fight going on tonight.
Which one is that?
I want to say it's Alexander Volkanovski. I want to say it's Volkanovski versus Rodriguez, and then there's Moreno versus Pantoja 2. So it's like 2 title fights tonight.
Nice. When's Diaz fighting Logan Paul?
I don't know about that one yet. As if I would care, is because I want both of those guys to knock each other out and break their jaws while they're at it.
Okay. So on that note, we will see you guys Friday night at 9 with the Wise Ass Sports Network Rides Again episode of the Wise Guy Sports Show. For JC Blue Note, I am the Big Rican saying it's been a wonderful Saturday night, everybody. And we'll see you in 6 days.
But the wise guys won't be seeing you in 6 days.
The wise asses will.
Wise asses will.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.